What is going on, my people? Welcome back to the channel for another album review. I'm your boy Naseem the Dream. If you're new to the channel, just go right on ahead and hit the subscribe button and hit the bell as well to always keep notified of my newest content. And today I will be reviewing the newest That's Dynamic Shroud record, Darklife. Vaporwave trio originating out of Dayton, Ohio, That's Dynamic Shroud has released their brand new 2022 LP, Darklife, with members James Webster, Tech Honors, and Keith Radkin. So That's Dynamic Shroud are an extraordinarily intriguing group for reasons because of their craft and electronica music. It's really like an explanation of combusting of heavy hallucinating effects into the music when it comes to the thoughts, the tricks, the ideas into the sound design process into their music. So my first time experiencing what these guys can really do starts with their previous most recent tape, Faith and Persona, back in 2021. Instantly felt hooked just by hearing the very first track, Tear and Abyss, onto this project, and concluded by the very end of the LP that this is a very incredible group reimagining numerous amount of hip-hop tracks in ways that I never really heard before. It's a group that I feel like can perfect the ideas of experimental song reconstruction with well thought out execution and fascinating noise creation. So with Darklife, based off the couple songs that I've heard from the record so far, my trust in the group's expertise continues to stay confident along with the final finish of the record. Beginning this otherworldly experience starts off with the intro track Stay, a hyper pop dance intro into challenging the psyche of the mind of the listener after transcending into this kind of space odyssey of an outro. The amount of beauty presented with this song alone on the symphonies inflicts so much emotion and passion through these synths and just string embellishments all together as we close off with the track into Judgement Bolt, a track I really can't even comprehend into words, really. It's one of those things where you have to experience it to believe it. A track like this is something that you really can't comprehend that much into words. At least I really feel like I can't, just because of how experimentally brilliant it really follows on the pattern. But with even more riveting dance beats driven with distorted bass and complexion into the voice samples. And then we enter this dark void into outer space that is already encompassed with drum lines, pads, various synth selections. And then suddenly it just bursts its way into this dance beat again with even more epic qualities, marking this as a simple finale with much more unique characteristics. And then for the third installment, Neon Memories, disco pop becomes the main trope of choice that you really get to dissect and reimagine on this track. And That's Dynamic Shroud has an interesting way of using their vocal manipulations, because normally most of these pitch tweaks are in phaser modulations. They can become very daunting with most artists that make them. But these guys can really make a chipmunk sound manipulation sound so cute, so adorable, and alluring. It's actually fucking nuts. Then we get songs like Life Left the Garden, which explores deeper into these intergalactic jumps into the future with even more beautiful songwriting ideas and working so wonderfully at achieving such a breathtaking melody while absolutely crushing the mix. It literally makes no sense how this actually sounds good. It is baffling. But ladies and gentlemen, mind you this, these thoughts are only occurring in my mind by the 5th track onto the record. We're only getting started. While still cruising along with this interesting vaporwave experience, we're then making another leap into time with the 6th track, Messe E102. Once you hit the checkpoint in the center of this track, you then make way into these marching drum lines that are mind-blowing. I was going bonkers at this shit. It hits you out of nowhere, dude. Like, it is absolutely nuts. It knocked my dick off. It knocked my dick off. My dick fell off! And then to give some highlights to the transition points, we even have a dope 80s synth pop transition onto the track after Third Heaven that still has this experimental spin on things with the song ideas of challenging the listener to expand the mind interpretation with the amount of possibilities that these guys can even pull on here. On this, it sounds like you're getting sucked into a black hole, and like, it's endless. It's crashing into a bunch of different things, and just it has these drawing crescendos and bizarre discoveries into sound design, and just nonchalant, it pulls you out. It pulls the listener back into this daily broadcast of electronica when I literally can't even figure out what happened. I thought I had a stroke. And then it leads us to the song Before I Cool that sort of turns into this like shoegaze balladry. It's also kind of dizzying because I don't understand how we ended up here. And I can't really even say that that is a negative comment for this record. I just really don't know how to think of this. It just doesn't really feel natural. Then again, this entire record doesn't really feel natural at all. That's kind of the point. But the thing is that I feel like the momentum was it looped out into a whole different dimension, and I ended up here somehow. But then already with the 9th track, I Just Wanted to Be Loved, I'm already pulled back in immediately just because of how stunning the imagery is on here. It's like I'm seeing the sea of stars in the night sky. It's seriously so deeply meditative and comforting to me while also feeling very science fiction at the same time. It's just a pretty cool experience. And as you go through this, you can kind of spot some Easter eggs while you're going through this universal experience. Every time we come to new tracks, we make new discoveries that just bring up moments that bring us back into the past, to the future, to the present, and another worldly dimension like I mentioned, and it's just like we're being dragged through a vortex of experimental pop nostalgia. This record does a lot of wacky things and many different types of influences and inspirations that I really think are dope. And then we get cuts on here that really fall in line and influences of ambient, electronic indie music, such as with the 12th track Where Does It Come From? This is one that I get to imagine a site where it's shimmering chimes that are just so gorgeous, it's like viewing the northern lights of Alaska in person. I feel like another one worth mentioning comes from this soulful ambient electronica called Rare Angel that has a beautiful thump to it. It's just a real feel-good listen. So while I feel I got most of the highlights off of my chest that I feel like were worth mentioning, which there are a lot on here, I really did enjoy this record. There are great moments on here musically that were really appealing to me, really nice to listen to. There's still great new ideas of how they want to present the imagery of the record that feels so unique to the title. The nerd personality in me catches myself reimagining me in that scene of Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, while him and America Chavez are crashing through different universes. That's a scene I can definitely see these songs attached to, though I don't think it would really be good to attach it to the actual film because it'd probably be way too distracting and you wouldn't really be able to really focus on what you're seeing. I get it. I don't get bitches. But like with the moments I already mentioned on with particular tracks and particular moments onto the record, I do feel like there is a lot of moments on here that can become slightly confusing just because I just really don't know how to interpret it, and sometimes the momentum is just too wacky and too misformed where I'm at, it's just, I'm not ready for that. The best way I can explain it is that I go through this vortex, right? I go through this multi-dimensional experience of a roller coaster, but then I end up in a black room or like a white room, and it's just, that's the movie. I don't know, it's just weird, and it could just really become a little bit too dizzying at some points. Like it really does feel like it's at an unnecessary intensity. But I could definitely conclude that this is a pretty sick record. It's definitely one to me that really sticks out in electronic music this year, and I really do feel like it makes a really thrilling experience overall. I'm gonna give Death's Dynamic Shroud's Darklife an 84%. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed, go and like, share, and comment down below of what you thought of this record. Down in the description, you see all my separate Tracklist ratings for the album, more videos, and also the links on my social media accounts so you can keep up with me on the daily. I'm gonna catch you in the next one. Doses. Into the mind, my time.